Yo, what's up YouTube family? It's your boy Koozie, back at you with another hot TikTok reaction video. And today we're gonna do some creepy and bizarre TikTok reactions. I'm talking about the kind that's gonna have you rethinking reality. With that said, if you're new to the channel, go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I drop some new hot content. And one more thing, y'all, a lot of people been telling me that they are subscribed and have to resubscribe almost every day. They not get my notifications whenever I drop. You know, hit the notification bell. If not, just y'all let me know, man, because you know they messing with the channel, the numbers, because of the content. You know, they trying to rate it as radicalism. You know what I'm saying? Like a radical content. If y'all don't know anything Christian or conspiracy things right now, they, you know, we on attack right now. So y'all, we gotta band together a little bit. Oh yeah. These videos are for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe anything you hear or see in these videos, and don't believe anything that I say in these videos. Always do your own research and always use your own discernment. Guys, like, I gotta say that, man, because I'm thinking that's part of the problem, man. They thinking that, you know, these ain't for entertainment purposes, you know, and educational purposes too, you know, for some that think it's, you know, they can use their own discernment and figure out what's true or not. You know, sorry for the long intro, y'all. Let's get right to the content.
What is the Vatican keeping secret?
For the entire time that they've existed, they've collected manuscripts and relics and items, not only for their own research and to support their ideas, but also to prevent anything coming out. Because they need to control the information around biblical issues, they can't allow alternative views to become public. They've got 52 miles of shelving of books and manuscripts alone. So that will be everything from early first century fragments to potentially entire alternative gospels. There's the potential for alternative views to emerge. There were lots of different books originally that were set to go in the Bible, and it was only through a process of politics mainly that the final books were chosen. You'd expect an archive to be a public record that's made available, but because there's the potential for controversial material, you're not allowed access. They have potentially tens of thousands of documents that are still uncatalogued. So there could be documents they've got no idea of the importance of that they've got stored.
And is it just documents?
There's definitely relics. We know that from the Holy Land, certain items were returned, some quite extreme items. The foreskin of Christ is one of them that's said to be in the Vatican. Even the umbilical cord was supposed to have been kept.
Man, I know I heard what I think I just heard, y'all. Did he just say the foreskin of Christ and even allegedly the umbilical cord? Man, that is extreme. Talking about radicalism. No, I'm just playing. Y'all, that is crazy though, man. Yeah, I got to joke a little bit though. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that though in the comment section.
I don't think the Roman Empire fell. I think it became a church. I think the Rome fell, but the Roman Empire became the church. Where's all the money from the Roman Empire?
The Vatican.
In the basement of the Vatican is where it is, yeah. So Roman Empire became a church. British Empire became a bank.
Uh-oh.
So we gave our empire back. We said, oh yeah, sorry about that. You can have that back. We gave, you know, Saudi Arabia back and all these other places that we'd sort of were taking the resources, and then they had their own money. And then we went, oh well, what are you doing with that money? Because we've got this thing called the City of London. I tell you what, it's your money, but we're going to hold it. We'll have it over here. Is that okay? Yeah, fine, great.
What y'all think about that?
The Roman Empire didn't disappear. It reorganized itself into a church called the fucking Vatican. And the Vatican set up fucking churches all over the world, and that's how they run shit. They run all the intelligence agencies and all the Western fucking
CIA,
mobs.
CIA and Mossad
Allegedly.
don't take their orders from the fucking
You are
Vatican.
so cute. You are so cute.
You think the Vatican?
You are so cute.
You think the Vatican runs?
100%.
You think the Pope?
Yep.
Runs?
Yeah. No.
Tells the CIA
No. I
and
don't think the
Mossad what
white
to
Pope
do?
does. I think the gray Pope does.
Hey, I don't know nothing about none of that, man. I'm just reacting to the content. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that down below in the comment section, man. You know, I'm just an amateur reactor. I don't know nothing about none of this conspiracy stuff, man. I'm just getting into it, y'all guys. You know, like some people comment and say, oh man, he's just doing it for a check. Yeah, believe that, man. Let's get it, man. Let me know what y'all think down below in the comment section about that clip, though.
The briefing paper that I saw and read with my own eyes at Kirtland Air Force Base said there have been other intelligences using this planet for at least 270 million years. These extraterrestrial entities created a being to be placed on this planet to teach Homo sapien about love and nonviolence, identifying Jesus Christ as an extraterrestrial created specifically to come to Earth. The avatars of history may have been non-humans on very specific missions.
The hell she talking about, man? Y'all let me know down below in the comment section. You know what I'm saying? Even though, if you know, you know, if you read some of the or heard some of the book of Enoch. Yeah. But like I say, man, y'all don't fall for the boo-boo, man. For real though.
The Vatican is likely the most corrupt institution in our world. The Vatican is no stranger to murder, child trafficking, drug trafficking, sex exploitation, and cover-ups. Arguably one of the most famous basilicas in the world, underneath it lies a mass graveyard. So located about 5 stories beneath the basilica is actually another temple dating back to the Roman Empire. That's over 2,000 years of dead bodies. If you're wondering if those bodies are of Christians or Catholics, they're not. It was actually used for pagans. And here are some of the mosaic tiles that they found beneath the Vatican in the temple that it's built on top of. So here's a quote from one of the popes. I believe that the church not only should apologize to the person who is gay, whom it has offended, but it has to apologize to the poor, to the exploited women, to children exploited for labor. It has to ask forgiveness for having blessed many weapons. That's a little ironic considering what the Vatican has done to make sure that it's always protected and people never expose them. This is Pope John Paul I, and he died 33 days after his election. Now, the conspiracy around his death is that he found out the Vatican was laundering mass amounts of money, and he was going to rectify the situation of getting rid of everybody in the Vatican that was corrupt. His plans were announced straight after he became the Pope, and he died 33 days later. In 2015, it was uncovered that...
Why 33? I wonder. Let me know down below. What do you think? No, I'm just playing, y'all. Let me know.
2 cases of child were found within the Vatican walls. And get this, not everybody involved was named. Only a couple names took the blow for everybody else in the Vatican. And then the year before that, the government actually intercepted 3 deliveries directed to the Vatican, all containing drugs. Cocaine was found in condoms inside of these 3 deliveries that were intercepted. They were handed over to the Vatican in hopes that somebody within the walls would disclose who this was going to, but nobody came forward. This is St. Peter's obelisk, and not a lot of people know where it...
Come on, man. You really think somebody, man, that's just like the situation in the White House, man. Come on, man. Ain't nobody coming out to say what, man, who, man, y'all know better than that.
Comes from. One of Rome's cruelest emperors, Caligula, actually stole this from one of Egypt's cities, Heliopolis. He stole it from Egypt and he transported it to Rome. And you know what he did with it? It was used to murder and execute Christians. They would round up every single Christian that they could find, chain them, bound them, bring them to the obelisk, and brutally murder them. Vatican...
Gruesome. It's too gruesome for the tube.
books is called The Grand Grimoire, or The Red. And this book is about black magic. It harnesses spells and rituals, but many believe this is the book that they use to summon the devil when they are selling their souls. Kind of like the Book of the Illuminati. The conspiracies of the Vatican can go on and on and on. It's truly a never-ending cycle. One thing we do know, the people in the Vatican are evil and corrupt. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!
I mean, you can't just be going around saying that about people. That's kind of rude on the cool unless you have real proof. I wouldn't just say that about everybody. You know what I mean? But hey, man, it's crazy, man. This is a crazy world out here, man. It's getting weirder and weirder every day. Man, if y'all was thinking about skipping, man, I wouldn't skip if I was y'all. Man, you definitely gonna miss some stuff that y'all gonna want to see or hear for real, though. You know, for pure entertainment purposes only. Man, y'all don't forget to share, and like, and comment. If y'all can, please, it helps my videos hit the algorithm, get more views, and hopefully get some more subs, because they definitely been messing with my numbers, man, because I've been getting like 1 sub, 2 or 3 subs, maybe 4 subs a day. And come on, man, let's be realistic, y'all. Like, I'm not trying to be like my head up in the sky like cocky or nothing, but like, come on, man. Like, I know the videos ain't that bad. Come on, man, y'all. Let me know in the comment section what y'all think, though. Let's get it. Thank y'all.
So a month ago, I was talking about how the Vatican scares the absolute shit out of me. And so I started reading a real PDF document called The Secrets of the Vatican. And I'm going to tell you 5 things that the Vatican is hiding that no one knows about. I will warn you, some of these secrets are very eerie, and they actually will have you thinking about what's going on present day as well as what is to come. So if you're someone who scares easily, just scroll. Secret number 1. The Bible actually contained 80 chapters, and now the Bible has 66. The Vatican actually took these missing chapters out of the Bible and they keep them. The name of these chapters in the Bible are actually quite mystical. Some of those books that were taken, there were 18, and now the remaining number of chapters is 66, which is weird in itself. But here are some of them that say, like, the Book of Giants, the Book of Psalms, and it said that some of these books actually contain myths of sirens, mermaids, giants, and things of that nature, which kind of makes sense of why they would take them out. And the Vatican has these, by the way.
Man, y'all can find some of these, you know, they say the Vatican got them and stuff, man. Y'all can find some of them other missing books online and stuff. All you gotta do is look them up. You know, you might even find, you know, a few clips of some of these, you know, because all this stuff get leaked sooner or later. Believe that, and y'all know I ain't lying.
What I think they said 1615, they actually removed these books from the Bible. This includes the missing chapter, the story of Bel and the Dragon, the Apostles' Creed, the Apocalypse of Abraham. Yeah, that freaks me out. Fact number 2, there were 3 children that were said to have seen the Virgin Mary, and the Virgin Mary bestowed upon them 3 secrets, 1 for each individual child. These are the children, Lucia, Francisco, and Jaquita. I don't really know how to say her name. I probably butchered it. But over the course of time, these secrets were kept private. Like, nobody knew what they were because the children didn't want to speak until one of them said that she was going to speak for all 3 of them. This lady, like, held on to these secrets until she released 2 secrets. One of those secrets was about her giving a depiction of hell, what hell looked like, and it's pretty eerie. I mean, you can go look it up, and she gives a very detailed description. And then the second one, which was before either one of these things happened, World War I and World War II, she said that God would call for a war on man, and he would end the World War I, but there will be another World War II if they didn't appease God. And sure enough, it happened. But what's kind of crazy is the third secret. The third secret of Fatima was kept quiet the longest. It wasn't until the Pope actually ordered her to tell him what the third secret was, and she did so by writing it on a letter and putting it in an envelope and sealing it with wax, and she told the Pope, do not open it until 1960. This third secret is the most controversial and still to this day is the most prominent because it was a premonition about what would happen in 20th and 21st century from Fatima. So I'm going to explain it more, but this is just a summary of all three. But the third one, which is the most prominent, it says that in the 20th century, it would be the persecution of Christians that would bring on the apocalypse. She said the 20th and the 21st century, there would be people in army gear that would start to kill Christians. Yeah. That's what she said she saw in her vision, and this would unappease God, and this would bring forth the apocalypse. Third secret is about aliens.
It's pretty deep. Pretty deep, y'all. Pay attention, because we almost to them times, y'all. If y'all ain't paying attention to the all the new laws and stuff that they pass and everything that's going on. Pay attention. In the archives, it is said that they have proof that aliens came and helped ancient Sumerians as well as ancient people create massive structures and even history of nuclear weapons back in Egyptian times. So if you have ever heard of the Anunnaki, yes. They're real, and actual evidence of them exists in the Vatican archives that is like 38 meters underground. I have to do a part 2 with the other 2 facts, so stay tuned and I'll post that. Man, y'all, what y'all think about that, man? All this stuff was written, man. Man, I heard about all this. I ain't gonna say heard, I read all this over 10 years ago, man. Really though, it's all been, over the time, it's all been coming, like, you know, a little bit coming to light, coming true, you know, everything. A lot, you know, as time goes by. It's almost that time. If you know, you know.
The Vatican hides a lot of things because the same buildings that are at the Vatican are the same buildings that were in San Francisco. And before the World Fair of San Francisco, they got rid of all the buildings that look like the Vatican. That was that whole reset. And what's interesting is there's a book from 1907 that talks about how when the San Francisco World Fair whole thing took place, that they tried to put out the fires with TNT and dynamite. TNT and dynamite to put out fires. Never heard of that before. Anytime there's a fire, I've never heard of anybody using TNT and dynamite. I've also never heard of them using cannons. They also talked about how they use cannons against the fire. So the same buildings that are in San Francisco are the same buildings that are in the Vatican. They're just going to try to point your eyes at the Vatican and say that they own that land, when in reality, those buildings and that type of style of architecture was all over the world. They just capitalized on it. And what's funny is the fires only burnt the tops of the buildings and certain parts of the building, but other parts of the building were completely untouched. Reminds me of a lot of 1893 Chicago, 1901 St. Louis, and 1901 Buffalo, New York. Only certain things burn and only certain things crumble.
Shit crazy, ain't it? The motherfuckers say they try to put the fires out with explosives, TNT. Come on, man. Dynamite, man, that don't even make sense.
What's the biggest real conspiracy ever uncovered? Charlemagne's father, Pepin the Short, invaded Italy in the 8th century, and what happened next involves the most significant and long-lasting fraud in history. You see, Pepin invaded Italy in order to save the Pope from the Lombards, but even though they were allies, the Pope was afraid that Pepin would eventually desire all of Italy for himself. This was a problem because the popes have been acting as the de facto rulers of central Italy ever since the fall of the Roman Empire. But now if the church wasn't careful, they could lose their independence and end up once more subordinate to a secular power. Fearing this, the church presented Pepin with a document known as the Donation of Constantine. They claimed that 400 years earlier, the first Christian Roman Roman Emperor Constantine the Great had written this document, granting dominion of the city of Rome and its surrounding territories to the Pope and his successors. Pepin chose to honor this agreement, and this became the legal basis for the creation of the Papal States, whose existence would shape the face of Europe for the next 1,000 years. This document was believed to be authentic for the entirety of the Middle Ages, but new evidence came to light in the 15th century, and now even the Catholic Church accepts that the donation of Constantine was the most significant and consequential forgery in history.
What? Said it was a fraud.
Let's see what else Johnny Bravo has to say.
Be Jesus right there. That's the main church in the Vatican. That's in the Vatican. That's the serpent cathedral.
That's dope. Oh, there, Joe.
Look at the fangs and look at the eyes.
That is a serpent.
Come on.
Look at the tongue that comes out of the
Vatican's
fangs.
been
That's
pretending
amazing.
they're into Christ. They're not into Christ. They want to destroy Christ. The Vatican has the biggest telescopes in the world.
Okay, so what he showed there was a picture of Pope Paul VI Hall, which was constructed, I think, sometime in the 70s. And guys, that picture that he showed, that's not what it looks like. You can actually Google images of Pope Paul VI Hall and see what it really looks like. That's not what it looks like. That picture that he shows on the podcast is actually a picture using a fisheye lens, and that's why it looks like that. But if you're there in person, or if you just look at pictures of it with a regular lens, it doesn't look like that. The way that it looks is that there's an oval window on one side of the building, and then there's another oval window on the other side of the building, so it's on the side. So inside it has no resemblance to a snake or a serpent whatsoever. Somebody just happened to take a picture standing at the entrance of the hall and used a fisheye lens and saw that with that fisheye lens it looked like a snake, it looked like a serpent, but it doesn't look like that in person. It doesn't look like that when you don't manipulate the lens that you're using to take the picture of it. That wasn't the intention of the architects who built it. Again, if you look up pictures of it online, it's just a regular building. It's just a regular...
Man, shut up, man. Y'all go look it up, man. Y'all, let's go look it up and see, and y'all get back with me in the comment section, man. I just couldn't do it no more, man. His voice, it just sounded like it was fraud, like he was faking it, like trying too hard, like he was faking it for the camera, like, you know, oh, man, come on. Hurry up and finish. No, I ain't trying to be rude, y'all, but I'm pretty sure y'all get the same feeling, man. Let's get done.
hall that is used to hold large audiences. So this is a little dishonest. Joe Rogan, I've actually seen the full clip of this from Joe Rogan's podcast. If you go back and you watch this, even Joe Rogan knows this, and you go back and you watch, and Joe Rogan kind of brushes it off, and he's like, no, he says, let's talk about St. Peter's Basilica. That's something that's actually impressive, because Joe Rogan is really smart, and he knew that this wasn't legit. Eddie Bravo's not that smart, though.
They have one called Lucifer. They're the ones who are creating the...
Oh, right. So another charge against the Catholic Church.
Come on, man. Shout out to them, man. That's a crazy clip. Let's get it, though.
Pieces of land.
Listen, I was with you.
Google the very large array.
It's called the Very Large Telescope. I watched the documentary with you.
Pay attention, y'all. Go do your research on them symbols and stuff. I ain't gonna say nothing else.
Deep within the Vatican walls, a treasure trove of ancient Egyptian artifacts has been kept under lock and key for centuries. The collection is a mystery that has drawn in scholars, historians, and curious adventurers from around the world. But what is it about these relics that has drawn them to the Vatican, and what secrets might they hold? As you make your way through the dimly lit halls of the Egyptian Museum, you can't help but feel a sense of excitement building within you. Each object seems to hold a story, a piece of history waiting to be uncovered. The intricate hieroglyphics etched into the walls, the beautifully crafted sarcophagi, and the ornate amulets and jewelry all speak to a time and a culture that is both fascinating and mysterious. But as you delve deeper into the collection, you begin to realize that there is more to these artifacts than meets the eye. Could there be secrets hidden within these ancient texts, secrets that could change the course of history or reveal the truth about our world? Rumors have long circulated about the Vatican's...
Of course there are. Of course it is, man. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Is it some life-changing technology down there, ancient technology down there, or ancient knowledge down there hidden in the cellars of the Vatican? The Vatican, the notorious Vatican. Y'all let me know down below in the comment section.
Collection of Egyptian artifacts, with some suggesting that there are texts that contain forbidden knowledge. ancient spells and incantations that hold the power to change the world. Others claim that there are artifacts that have been deliberately kept from public view, for fear that they might reveal something that would shatter our understanding of history and the world we live in. Do the artifacts kept here expose the extraterrestrial secret of our distant past? And yet, despite the mystery and intrigue that surrounds these relics, the Vatican has kept its secrets well guarded. The collection of Egyptian artifacts stored within its walls is a testament to the enduring fascination and allure of ancient Egypt. But what other secrets might be hidden within the Vatican's hallowed halls, waiting to be discovered by those who have the courage to seek them out?
Shout out to him, man. Y'all go show him some love, man. Follows, you know what I'm saying? Show him some support like y'all show me, man. I appreciate all the love, man, because I couldn't do it without them and their channels and their content. And I couldn't do it without y'all love and support, man. For real, for real. I appreciate all that. You know what I'm saying?
Please tell me that you already knew that the Vatican has miles of a hidden secret library that is forbidden to the public. Oh, you didn't know? 53 miles of shelving, 35,000 volumes of
53 miles of hey, man. We got say, man, that's too much stuff. Why they need 53 miles for all this stuff, man? Why can't we have our hands, you know what I'm saying, on this technology, you know what I'm saying, on this stuff? 53 miles, man, that's a long, man, come on, man, that's a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff.
Catalog. 12 centuries worth of history. Do you really think with that kind of
12 centuries, man, what the hell y'all think is under that under the Vatican, man? For real though, because that is crazy. 12 centuries, 53 miles, probably even more. You know what I'm saying? That's just what we know. You know what I'm saying? That's just how much we know, what we know as the public, man, for real. That's crazy.
Library, that we know the true history of the world? Just imagine what they have down there. Supposedly, it's just record keeping of the papacy with a few letters from renowned figures throughout history, but I'm convinced that these shelves hold a lot more than what they say they do. There's a reason why this library is forbidden to the general public. It's probably a lot of stuff that interferes with the generally accepted narrative of our history. Leave a comment, let me know what you think, and follow for more. God bless.
What y'all think is hidden under the Vatican? Let me know down below.
If you watched the last 2 episodes of the Inquisition series, The Conspiracy of Chronology, outlining the proof of colonial powers by way of the Vatican altering and disguising history, and Mafioso, detailing how the Pope has gained control over most of the world and the people in it by means of papal bulls, you'd see that the objective of the Roman Catholic Church is to gain legal and political jurisdiction over the original civilizations of Earth by means of ecclesiastical systems and the altering of cultural or religious narratives for means of gain.
The Vatican
Cold
about
blooded.
5 miles of archives underground and very, very secure access. In other words, you can't just go, I'm going to go check out the archives underground. No, you have to be a security cleared, almost top secret cleared based on their standards to get down there. But they have in there so many incredible discoveries, so much knowledge and wisdom that have been stolen, literally stolen from all around the world. And of course, the Library of Alexandria, that was a book heist. The fire was a distraction. The real story of Alexandria, it was a book heist. It was a knowledge theft. They stole the knowledge. They left a few books burning here and then they burned it down to the ground. But the vast majority of the knowledge and wisdom stored at Alexandria was siphoned off and taken to that underground, I call it an underground base at the Vatican. Down there also, according to even some Jesuits, are bones of actual quote-unquote alien beings, information about advanced beings that visited this planet, the Anunnaki.
Man, y'all know how he is, man. You gotta take what he say with a grain of salt, cause he gonna say it's like 5 miles of space under the Vatican with this knowledge and all these artifacts and relics or whatever. But we just hear all these other clips and these people always say 53, 52, 50 something, 50 or more miles. Come on, man. He got to stop misleading. He gonna give you a little bit of truth and a little bit of BS. I tell y'all that every time. And he never proves us wrong. He never proved me wrong with that. For real, though.
It's crazy how empires rise and fall.
Mike, I got a hot take on this.
Please.
I don't think they do. So I don't think the Roman Empire fell. I think it became a church. I think the Rome fell, but the Roman Empire became the church. Where's all the money from the Roman Empire?
The Vatican.
In the basement of the Vatican is where it is. Yeah, that's. So Roman Empire became a church. British Empire became a bank. So we gave our empire back. So, oh yeah, sorry about that. You can have that back. We gave, Saudi Arabia back and all these other places that we'd sort of taken the resources, and then they had their own money. And then we went, oh well, what are you doing with that money? Because we've got this thing called the City of London. I tell you what, it's your money, but we're going to hold it.
So what if I told you that the Vatican is built on an ancient initiation site to the pagan mother goddess, and that the structure of the buildings is meant to replicate a mystery school temple from Egypt? It's a fact, and I don't even need to work that hard for this one. I'm going to start with some mainstream sources, and this is a Roma Archaeologica magazine that I actually picked up at the Vatican years ago. The topic for this issue is I culti orientali a Roma, which is the Oriental or Eastern cult in Rome. Now you have to remember that the way the church propagandizes against Gnostic beliefs is to call them cults, and in this case they call them Eastern cults because they are said to come from Turkey and Persia. Mithraism, the cults of Sybil and Attis, as you can see a map here that is around Rome. And again, for the so-called cults of Isis and Serapis and their sites around Rome, and for the so-called cults of Jupiter around Rome, and finally a map of the Mithraeums, the underground initiation vaults that were used in the Mithraic mysteries. Well, golly gee, there sure are a conspicuous amount of pagan and Gnostic initiation sites all over Rome. One such site is called the Basilica of San Clemente. It's just south of the Colosseum. And you can see they built a basilica on top of an initiation chamber, a Mithraeum. Now you can still access that Mithraeum today. The Mithraeum was basically the basilica's basement. It had always been accessible. They've been doing archaeological excavations to see if it spreads out, but they've always been able to access it through the church, which again is very interesting. So what does this have to do with the Vatican? Well, these smaller Mithraeums and temples were spread out around the area like small local churches. They were for common use. The Vatican sat on a much more important structure. It was built smack on top of the main Mithraeum and initiation center. If we go back to the Roma Archaeologica magazine, we see that there was what they are calling a Phrygianum on Vatican Hill. And if I translate the Italian, it says that regional catalogs make mention that there was a Phrygianum and a Gaianum in the Vatican. Don't be fooled by these words. This is part of the goofy bullshit little kid word games that these people play to hide what's right in front of you. A Phrygianum is just a made-up word that they put in place of a Mithraeum. Phrygia was said to be the center of Turkey, or around the area of Cappadocia, which was said to be a head area for Mithraism. And there are a lot of underground churches and initiation centers there that I'll get to in other videos. A Gaianum is a much more interesting word. A Gaianum is a place where you go to worship Gaia, Mother Earth. And we see that a Gaianum is an adjective for a place of worship similar to that of other Oriental deities such as Isis, Serapis, Jupiter, and indicating a place of worship for Gaia, the Earth, which is also correlated to Sybil. And if we move on to the next page, we've got a nice picture of the Vatican and St. Peter's Cathedral showing the Phrygianum, the Temple of Gaia. The approximate location, in reality, the Temple of Gaia is part of the catacombs under the cathedral. We also have some interesting pictures of altars that they pulled out from the site, such as the altar of the Great Mother of the Magna Mater. And this one is interesting because here she is on an Egyptian solar bark, a ship of the afterlife, and it says, "The Mother of the Gods arriving on the ship of salvation." This is very similar to San Clemente with the Mithraeum under it that I mentioned earlier. You can go to the Vatican right now and visit the catacombs underneath and see part of these structures and see the artifacts that they pulled out of them in the Vatican Museum. You can also visit the tomb of St. Peter right under St. Peter's Cathedral. And isn't it interesting that this is kind of a tongue-in-cheek hint that they built the basis of Christendom. They built their church literally on top of goddess worship. There is so much detail I could go into about this, but it'd be an hour-long video. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments and I'll do a Q&A video later. So now, how about we move on to the Vatican being an Egyptian temple? And that'll be in part 2, so check it out.
Boy, that was crazy. I hope y'all was paying attention, man, because these video clips are getting deep, man. Like I said, if y'all was thinking about skipping, man, I definitely wouldn't skip now, because it's only getting better and it's only getting deeper, man. Y'all, let's get it. Show some love. Hit that like button. Share. Please comment. Give me y'all opinion. Let's get it. The show must go on.
Most people are probably going to dismiss this as insignificant or not a big deal, but let me know what you think. So this is Vatican City. You see that nice obelisk there? Well, the City of London and Washington, D.C. also have obelisks. And despite Vatican City being surrounded by Italy, it is not actually a part of Italy. It has its own government, its own police force, and the same goes for Washington, D.C. It's not actually a part of the U.S. It's its own territory. It has its own police force, its own government. Look, City of London, which is in the middle of London, you'd think it's a part of London, but it's actually its own city-state with its own government and its own police force. Although the City of London falls under the jurisdiction of Greater London and the GLA, it has its own special status, its own government, its own mayor, and its own independent police force. So there is some spiritual significance to this. The City of London being the financial center, the Vatican City being the religious center, and Washington, D.C. being the military center of the world. The other crazy thing is we know the Vatican Archives is miles and miles of library underground in the Vatican, ancient books and things. Well, this is where the...
No, we don't. West South Line. We don't know nothing about up under there, man. We think we know, but you think you know. We'll just say it like that.
Pope speaks inside of this big hall, it's called, and that's a very interesting looking design behind him. But this is more interesting. Well, that building he was in, just pictured, looks like the side of a snake. The inside, like he stands back there and talks, and that looks pretty reptile-like. Because of the odds of making this look like that by accident are very slim. We gotta ask ourselves why they did it.
I was always taught that the serpent was the reason behind humanity's downfall, so I'm confused as to why the Pope is speaking from the mouth of one.
Shout out to Magical, man, and shout out to the creator of that video, because that was a good clip, because it definitely broke down a lot, man. I hope y'all was paying attention, for real. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that down below in the comment section.
When you see someone like the Pope, and he's got the staff with the pine cone on it, not only is that interesting, but he's wearing a mitre hat. That hat he wears is the same hat that the Nomo and Awanas wore in that symbolic way to show their influences to those civilizations. So think about how bizarre that is. We're told that all this stuff is fantasy and a myth, the Anunnaki and these influences of beings and creating these civilizations and all this stuff. None of it's real, and yet the highest of our religious establishments has a pine cone on their staff and the hat worn by one of the ancient influencers of those cultures. The key to all ascension is simply balance and knowledge. The knowledge of balance and the knowledge and wisdom needed provides you the way to the top, the way to, as they've said, heaven and all these other various things along the way. That way is being guarded, very guarded by these powerful individuals. Those individuals are tasked simply with protecting that knowledge from us, because it would allow us to be free, and it would completely, the control of religions would fall apart, everything would change.
Kind of remind you of something?
So I want to make sure we get into the Vatican. Okay. You go down this elevator. Yes. You're on an invited mission to try to figure out what the heck this tetrahedron thing is.
Right.
So what do you see? Let's first just tell me what the elevator looked like. Anything unusual about the elevator?
No, it was a very large elevator, larger than normal. You could fit a car in it.
Oh, wow.
Normal elevator, very clean.
Okay. Round, square?
No, square.
Okay.
Yeah, rectangular, yeah.
So the door...
Man, I don't know, man. I think he capping, but y'all let me know what y'all think down below in the comment section, man. How else could he come up with all this stuff, man? Or do he just got a good imagination? I don't know. Like I said, I think he might be capping though.
Was built as a covered passage which people would not see what was going on inside it. And of course, all sorts of stories emerge of popes going to meet their mistresses in Castel Sant'Angelo, or going to see the execution of somebody they particularly hated.
The Vatican was not always surrounded by a wall. In fact, a transformative event had to occur before the Pope decided he had to better protect himself.
In 846, the Saracens take Ostia and they then advance on Rome. They don't enter the city, but they sack the suburban churches. It's certainly a terrible shock to Western Christendom. This is a very important event for the history of the Vatican because it triggers the building of a wall which is begun in 848.
It took 4 years to complete the wall. Today, only a few sections remain.
It's built entirely of Roman bricks with some great blocks of stone, but it's probably about 8 meters high, 2.5 meters thick, with towers along it, about 22 or 25 towers. And that wall links Castel Sant'Angelo to the Vatican Hill up behind St. Peter's, and then runs down the other side, forming a long rectangular strip, which is about 3 kilometers long.
Man, I ain't even gonna lie. I don't think he was where he say he was at, man. Cause them things, the designs on the side of the vehicle said BC, not BG. Y'all let me know what y'all think down below. Though I might be tripping or half blind.
Rothschilds come from the Orsini family. Roth means red in German, and the Orsini means red bear, little red bears. That's what Orsini means. The Grey Pope is Pepe Orsini. He trumps the black, he trumps the white Pope.
The Grey Pope is even higher than the black and the white Pope.
The Orsini is the Maxima family. They are the maximum family. They are on top. And somehow they've trumped the Colonna and the Farnese, which I know without any doubt through all my studies that they are the 3 most powerful Illuminati.
What about Rothschild and Rockefeller?
Well, they are Orsini. They just changed their name. Rockefeller were Rothschilds. Rothschilds were Orsini. Orsini were a family which have their lines in Babylon and Egypt. They tell you that. You read their biographies. They'll tell you that. We go back to Nimrod. They tell you that. The Rothschilds say that. We go back to Nimrod. How? Through the Orsini. So Rockefeller, Rothschild, Orsini, and then you go back to the Persian and Egyptian dynasties.
Crazy shit, crazy shit, crazy. Man, that's all alleged, man, because I don't know who that was, man. Y'all do your own research, though, guys. Remember that these videos for entertainment purposes. Do your own research, man. There's some educational purpose for what y'all get out of it. When y'all use your own discernment and do your own research, guys.
What are they hiding in the missing pages of the Devil's Bible? There is a mysterious 13th century book known as the Codex Gigas. Found in Prague in 1648 during the 30 Years' War, this massive book is the world's largest medieval manuscript, and nobody knows who wrote it. But there is a legend about it. According to the story, a Benedictine monk named Herman the Recluse had been sentenced to death for breaking his monastic vows. In a last-ditch attempt to save his life, he said he would create a book filled with all human knowledge in a single night. Realizing this was an impossible task, Herman called upon the devil himself and struck a deal to scribe the manuscript to win his freedom at the cost of his soul. And its prominent illustration of the devil within its pages earned it the nickname, the Devil's Bible. Now, according to the story, the book was completed in one night, a task that historians say would have taken one person over 20 years to complete. The original book contained 320 pages that included the Latin Bible and various writings on exorcism, medical knowledge, and magic. However, somewhere along the way, 10 pages were ripped out, and to this day, their whereabouts and contents are unknown. Some believe these missing pages contain secret and forbidden knowledge, and that those who wielded it caused things like the Black Plague and other disasters. Even though the Codex Gigas can be seen in a museum in Stockholm, Sweden today, many people are still asking the question.
Boy, shit crazy. Something to make your mind wonder, man, but it's something like that I don't really want to think too hard on. Y'all let me know what y'all think, though, in the comments.
Operation Northwoods. Quote, we could blow up a U.S. ship in Guantanamo Bay and blame Cuba. Or, quote, sink a ship near the harbor entrance and conduct funerals for mock.
This one crazy, y'all. Really pay attention, though. Think of the maturing candidate when you hear this next statement with what they saying. That I just entered.
Victims.
But that's the thing you didn't know, the thing you'd never think to check. Those people were already dead before the bomb went off. That's what I'm saying.
What you are looking at is Operation Northwoods, the unclassified document dated March 13th, 1962. This unclassified document is widely available online, and all you have to do is search for Operation Northwoods PDF or Northwoods PDF, and you'll find it. It's been available for a while, but most people have no idea what it says. Let's take a look at it together and see if we can find anything strange. So when you're reading this document, it pretty much says that the US military wants to go to war with Cuba, and they don't have a real reason to, so they want to create one. And this Operation Northwoods is their idea to create a war with Cuba. Let's see what it says. Okay, so page 7, you go down to paragraph 1. Quote, since it would seem desirable to use legitimate provocation as the basis for U.S. military intervention in Cuba, a cover and deception plan to include requisite preliminary actions such as been deployed in response to Task 33C could be executed as an initial effort to provoke Cuban reactions. Harassment plus deceptive actions to convince the Cubans of imminent invasion would be emphasized. Our military posture throughout the execution of the plan would allow a rapid change from exercise to intervention if Cuban response justifies. Paragraph 2. A series of well-coordinated incidents will be planned to take place in and around Guantanamo to give genuine appearance of being done by hostile Cuban forces. Incidents to establish a credible attack, not in chronological orders. So basically they're saying here what they're going to do to start an attack. Number 1, they're going to start rumors using clandestine radios. They're going to land friendly Cubans in uniforms over the fence to stage an attack on the base. They're going to capture Cuban territory. They're going to start riots near the main base. They're going to blow up stuff in the base and have fires and all that. And then it gets interesting. It says, on number 10, sabotage a ship in the harbor, large fires, and then you go down to number 11, it says, sink ship near harbor entrance, conduct funerals for mock victims. And then it says, may be in lieu of 10. So they're saying here they want to sink a ship near the harbor and conduct funerals for mock victims? That seems kind of strange. Let's continue reading. B.
If y'all, it seemed kind of familiar too. If y'all thinking, I ain't saying that's what happened to those people, but hey, kind of ring a bell.
United States would respond by executing offensive operations to secure water and power supplies, destroying artillery and mortar emplacements which threaten their base. C. Commence large-scale United States military operations. And then paragraph 3, quote, a remember the Marine incident could be arranged in several forms. A. We could blow up a U.S. ship in Guantanamo Bay and blame Cuba. B. We could blow up a drone unmanned vessel anywhere in Cuban waters. We could arrange to cause such an incident in the vicinity of Havana or Santiago as a spectacular result of a Cuban attack from the air, sea, or both. The presence of Cuban planes or ships merely investigating the incident of the vessel could be fairly compelling evidence that the ship was taken under attack. The nearness to Havana or Santiago would add credibility, especially to those that might have heard the blast or seen the fire. The U.S. could follow up with an air-sea rescue operation covered by U.S. fighters to, quote, evaluate remaining members of the non-existent crew. Casualty lists in U.S. newspapers would cause a helpful wave of national indignation. I mean, this is shocking stuff, right? Let's move on. Number 4. We could develop a communist Cuban terror campaign in the Miami area, in other Florida cities, and even in Washington. The terror campaign could be pointed at Cuban refugees seeking haven in the United States. We could sink a boatload of Cubans en route to Florida, real or simulated. We could foster attempts on lives of Cuban refugees in the United States, even to the extent of wounding in instances to be widely publicized. Exploding a few
Boy, this shit crazy. It get deep, man. These people are treacherous, man.
plastic bombs in carefully chosen spots, the arrest of Cuban agents, and the release of prepared documents substantiating Cuban involvement would also be helpful in projecting the idea of an irresponsible government. And then it goes into some very interesting details. Number 6, use of MiG-type aircraft by U.S. pilots could provide additional provocation. Let that sink in for a minute. The United States military wanted to put U.S. military personnel in foreign planes and use those people to start a war, pretending like they're somebody else. This is unbelievable. Let's continue reading. Harassment of civil air.
This is all alleged, guys. Alleged. I'm not saying this is true. This is a big if. It's if. But if this is true, boy, these people is treacherous as hell. Boy, they do anything to get what they want, man. I'm telling you, boy, this is crazy, man. Crazy work.
Attacks on surface shipping and destruction of U.S. military drone aircraft by MiG-type planes would be useful as complementary actions. An F-86 properly painted would convince air passengers that they saw a Cuban MiG, especially if the pilot of the transport were to announce such a fact. The primary drawback to this suggestion appears to be the security risk inherent in obtaining or modifying an aircraft. However, reasonable copies of the MiG could be produced from U.S. sources in about 3 months. Number 7, quote, hijacking attempts against civil air and surface craft should appear to continue as harassing measures condoned by the government of Cuba. Concurrently, genuine defections of Cuba, civil and military air, and surface craft should be encouraged. Number 8, it is possible to create an incident which will demonstrate convincingly that a Cuban aircraft has attacked and shot down a chartered civil airliner en route from the United States to Jamaica, Guatemala, Panama, or Venezuela. The destination would be chosen only to cause the flight plan route to cross Cuba. The passengers could be a group of college students off on a holiday, or any grouping of persons with a common interest to support chartering a non-scheduled flight. An aircraft at Elgin Air Force Base would be painted and numbered an exact duplicate for a civil registered aircraft belonging to a CIA proprietary organization in the Miami area. At a designated time, the duplicate would be substituted for the actual civil aircraft and would be loaded with the selected passengers, all boarded under carefully prepared aliases. The actual registered aircraft would be converted into a drone. Takeoff times for the drone and the actual aircraft will be scheduled to allow a rendezvous south of Florida. From the rendezvous point, the passengers carrying the aircraft will descend to a minimum altitude and go directly into an auxiliary field at Elgin Air Force Base, where arrangements will be made to evacuate the passengers and return the aircraft to its original status. The drone aircraft, meanwhile, will continue to fly the filed flight plan. When over Cuba, the drone will be transmitting on the international distress frequency a Mayday message stating he is under attack by a Cuban MiG aircraft. The transmission will be interrupted by the destruction of the aircraft, which will be triggered by radio signal. This will allow ICAO radio stations in the Western Hemisphere to tell us what has happened to the aircraft, instead of us trying to sell the incident. Number 9. It is possible to create an incident which will make it appear that the communist Cuban MiGs have destroyed a U.S. Air Force aircraft over international waters in an unprovoked attack. So what do you think about this document? What do you think about all the crazy things that the United States government was willing to do in order to start a war? And do you think that they're still willing to do these things today? Please leave a comment and let me know what you think. And until next time, thank you all for watching, and God bless you all.
Boy, this shit crazy, but like I say, it's alleged, man. We can't say that's true, man, but it's alleged, y'all. If that is true, man, it's treacherous, man. It's crazy. It's evil, man, to the core. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that down below in the comment section. And with that said, this is the end of the video, y'all. Man, I appreciate everybody that stayed to kick it with me and, you know what I'm saying, to soak up some of this good game, this good knowledge, entertainment, man. You know what I'm saying? Whatever one y'all don't want to decipher for, you know, in y'all own eyes. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't do it without y'all. I couldn't do it without God, too. Number one, you know what I'm saying? But hey, appreciate y'all. It's your boy Koozie. I'm out. Catch you next video.